Hello. So, there's just something that I've been, I guess, the Lord put on my heart that I've been kind of contemplating. And so for me, my life, the things that I've been going through, it's just like one after the other. It's like, really? Are you kidding me? Like just, and it's not like I was particularly meditating on that. I have come to peace long ago with that it's pretty clear in the Bible. It actually says everyone who follows the Lord, like everyone who, I don't know, remember exactly how it explains it, but basically everyone who's trying to live a Christian life will suffer. That's just how it is. And but I started to struggle a little bit with like, I don't think I'm suffering well, sometimes like because like when Paul and Silas and all, when they suffered, they went away praising God. And then as I was reading, I think it might have been somewhere in Psalm 78. There's a passage that I really liked, and it kind of is what made me start thinking about all of this. So, in the passage of Psalm 78, it's a long one, and it's really talking about kind of like bringing the Israelites out of Egypt and how they kept turning back to sinful things and how they kept enraging God and forgetting Him and worshiping idols and building high places and all that stuff, right? But there's this thing that, like, when I'm going through these things and I'm wondering, like, why is it like this? Why do these things keep going wrong? Why is it so hard? Why am I suffering so much? Why am I struggling, right? And there's this passage in that chapter in Psalm 78 that says, "But when he slew them, they sought him." And I really, it really hit me because I really feel like sometimes, I feel like what's going on in my life sometimes is like the Lord's really trying to get me to this thing, right? To whatever it is that He has for me. But He's trying to do it in a way that is complete and is in accordance with His plan, right? And when it's not a struggle, when I don't feel like out of my depth, when I feel like, okay, I've got a hold of things, like even if I'm like doing the church things and I have all the things that I follow and I'm like saying my prayers and I'm reading my Bible and I'm saying thank you Lord, it's a different kind of way that I approach God than when I feel like if you don't show up, I have nothing. It's different. It's a very different kind of seeking of the Lord. There's like a desperation behind it. And really, there's a different kind of faith that comes in these situations where I'm really having to walk, every day, like moment by moment, like really trusting the Lord. Um, and there's another part in one of the passages where it's talking about them coming out of Egypt. And it just mentions that He brought them out of Egypt laden with silver and gold, right? Because the Lord provided for them as they were leaving. He did all of these miracles and then He gave them all that silver and gold. And what did they do with it? That silver and gold that the Lord provided was what, when Moses went up the mountain and he was taking a little longer than they expected, because that is something that has just apparently been on us for a long time. When things take longer than we expect, we get impatient and we look for another option, right? And Moses went up and they're like, maybe he's gone. I don't know. Like, maybe he's just disappeared. So let's find us another God, right? And so then they took the gold and silver that God had provided for them when He did all of the miracles to bring them out of Egypt, and they built an idol to worship. And they went to all, I don't remember how it explains it, but basically they started, they had like an orgy, like it was like they just went back to the kind of like, probably, I am assuming things they learned in Egypt, right? But it made me think of like how sometimes when the Lord gives us blessings along the way, like they can throw off the path, like, because I can go off track. Like for me, one of the things, the times that it really made me think of is um, I've a fluctuation of weight on my life, right? But there was a time where after like around the time that I really turned my life back to the Lord, or whatever, the Lord turned it back, whatever. Um, I put on a lot of weight, like, and I was somewhere over 300 pounds, right? And there was this time afterwards that the Lord really provided just all of the things that were needed to drive me to lose weight, right? And I lost like over 100 pounds. And so the Lord provided me with this silver and gold, this victory over something that had been a real struggle, right? And what did I do with it? When I started to lose weight, I changed the way I dressed. I was showing off a little bit more, and then I found a person that I started dating, and then that kind of took me down the wrong road, and and I kind of struggled with my self-image. Even though I had lost all this weight, I felt worse about myself because it was like it's never going to be good enough, you know. And so I took the thing that He gave me, and it became an idol for me. It became something that was um, I was way too focused on, and that like it drew my focus away from Him. And then I got in this dating relationship, and then it was like totally my focus was shifted, you know. And it was like, that's not why He gave me that silver and gold, right? I mean, if the children of Israel later on, you find that He gave them the silver and gold to create, to contribute to the building of the tabernacle, which was the place where they could be in the presence of God. That's why He gave them the silver and gold, was to be in His presence. But instead, they had to wait. They had to wait until the point where that could be built, the tabernacle, so that they could be in His presence. And during that wait, that gold and silver was like, hey, I've got a better idea. You know what we could do, and we could have right now? let's make a golden calf, right? And I just think that sometimes when I'm going through these difficult times, and it's like, and I don't think that the struggles and the difficulty are necessarily a punishment for anything, like, oh, I must have not been thankful enough, or I must have lost my focus. But sometimes it's just like keeping me in that mode of really, really watching for the Lord and seeking Him, and asking Him moment by moment, you know, because I think that it's so much more important to arrive at what He's building, and to continue on the way that He wants me to go, than it is for me to necessarily feel super happy each step of the way. He has been bringing me, thank you, Lord, into the place where I can have faith more, really, like, letting go of a lot of the other, like, because sometimes the struggle itself is one thing, but then the fear and the things that it triggers is a whole other thing. And that's like a whole other kind of idol, that can, you know, become a mammon in our life that we can serve, right? And I just think that, but I think it's so important, like, I don't know, maybe it was uplifting to me in a way that when I understand that I'm going through these struggles and I'm feeling so overwhelmed, all this, it's because the Lord is like, I know you need to stay close right now. You need me right now. And this, if I make it too comfortable, you're going to get lost again. And I don't want you to get lost. I want you to stay right by me until we get there. We get to that promised land. We get to that tabernacle. We get to that next step, like over, you know, through the sea or over the Jordan River, or, you know, like there's the ways that He led them out. It was progressive, right? Like they come out, He parts the sea, they're a miracle, and then they're in the desert for a little bit, and then they have all these other miracles that happen, and a lot of people died, and like there was a lot of people did the wrong thing. But then when they're ready for the next thing, then it's like He parts the Jordan River and brings them into there. But it's like the phases that they can, the Lord knows how to bring us, how do you put it, like, to capture the right amount of ground for us to be able to hold at a time, and not too much all at once, you know. But like, um I just, I know I'm getting rambly, because it's like these things, the way that my brain works, the concepts that come into it and that I understand and the Lord speaks to me, it's not like really clear and linear. They're like this big ball of stuff that makes sense in my head, but it's so hard to get it out sometimes. But hopefully the Lord is able to just clear that up for anybody listening. But yeah, it's just like, it's kind of encouraging to me that it's like when I'm facing these struggles, and when I, like, instead of being resentful or being bitter or being like, why so much, it's like, okay, you're calling me closer. Help me get closer. Show me what it means to have faith in these situations. Help me to be able to be like Paul and Silas. And when I'm facing these struggles and these things, these difficulties, that I can go away praising God that I was counted worthy to suffer for Him, you know, because so many things in life, we might not necessarily see it as suffering for Him, but like when we are refusing to, when we are following what the Lord puts on our heart, like, don't go that way, even though it seems so easy to go that way and try and fix it that way and to do it that way. But if I'm being obedient to doing it his way, then that is suffering for it, because something seems like, and I mean, for me, like I think I've mentioned before, even if I try and go the other way, it doesn't work. The Lord's like, nope, no, you can't go that way. You have to follow my way. And which I'm thankful for, but it's just like the worldly things don't work for me the same way. And I think that's something he wired into me for his reasons. But I think I'm probably rambling at this point, but I hope the point got across there somewhere. But that's it.